Everybody, what's good? This your boy JTL, opposite from the norm. Before I get started, make sure y'all like, share, comment, and subscribe. All right, so this is gonna be a new segment that we're gonna be doing every Friday, God willing. I know I'm late a day, but I still wanted to get it started for my partner HD. He's gonna be the one that's gonna be hosting Financial Fridays every Friday. Y'all can look forward to that. And also, God willing, every Sunday we're gonna be he's gonna be doing sports talk. So HD is also gonna be heading that. I just wanted to start this week because I seen something that sparked my interest, that Roland Martin and a couple of people were talking about. Financial Fridays, real quick in a nutshell, is going to be what you can do with your money. You know what I'm saying? For especially for Black people, when you get paid every week or every 2 weeks or whatever, whenever your job pays you, how you can invest your money, whether it be stock market, like with Acorn or Stash, where you can invest small amounts of money that would still go to big investments. Like say Amazon shares is worth almost $500 a share. You can still invest with Acorns or Robinhood or Stash and into that as much as you possibly can and still get a piece of it. You know what I'm saying? However, they have the trickle down effect with the stocks and bonds, or how they do it. You can look more into it before you do it. But on Fridays, God, one of my partner will be explaining things like that on saving, what you can do with your money to get you to a place of financial security, whether it's a 401k or whether, like I said, stocks and bonds or investing in a business or whatever. So this is what we're going to be doing every Friday, God willing. So here I'm going to start. Once again, I say like, share, comment, and make sure you subscribe. So I'm going to be talking about opportunity zones. This whole thing since 2017 that Donald Trump boasted that is going to help the blacks, like he eloquently says, is going to help Black people. It has been helping Black people. I'm going to break down why right now, because it's only 2 years old, but right now, how it's pretty much bullshit and there needs to be a change to what they do. Because it's not necessarily helping Black and brown businesses, especially not Black. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. I got a couple things I pulled up for y'all. All right. So as of this is from Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, ITEP.org. Opportunity zones bolster investors' bottom lines rather than economic or racial equity. Opportunity zones are designated geographic areas where investments are rewarded with a new set of federal tax breaks created as part of the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. The stated intent of the policy is to alleviate poverty in low-income neighborhoods by incentivizing private investments in designated distressed areas through various federal tax breaks. This policy brief provides an overview of how opportunity zones are designated and highlights some of the flaws of the policy, including the detrimental impact opportunity zones have on communities of color, Black and brown people. The design of opportunity zones. Under the federal opportunity zones programs, investors can qualify for various tax breaks on the capital gains income from investments qualifying in opportunity zones. To qualify as an opportunity zone, an area has to meet the statutory criteria for a low-income community, either having at least a 20% poverty rate or a median income less than 80% of the median income in the closest metropolitan area. Both metrics are based on the 2012 to 16 American Community Survey data. State governors have authority to elect the maximum number of eligible tracts in their states, thereby influencing where investors can qualify for tax subsidies. The three tax breaks for qualifying investments are investors selling property and investing the resulting income in an opportunity zone fund can defer paying tax on the previously accumulated unrealized capital gains from the sale until 2026. If the investment is kept in an opportunity zone fund for at least 5 years, the previously accumulated unrealized capital gains will qualify for a lower effective tax rate. Rates are even lower for investments held for 7 years or more. This is accomplished by excluding a portion of the gain from tax entirely. New capital gains generated by opportunity zone investments are completely tax-free if they are held in the funds for at least 10 years. So that means you got to know how to save, basically, or hold on to your money before you make a new move. So flaw one, opportunity zones don't incentivize new investments in truly distressed areas. All right, hold on. Let me take a puff before I start. All right. The Opportunity Zones program claims to bring investments, jobs, business expansion, and new business development to economically distressed communities. Fundamentally, the design of opportunity zones undercuts this stated intention. Several studies have demonstrated that investors make decisions about where to invest largely independent of tax incentives, which means tax incentives like opportunity zones offer a windfall benefit for projects that would have occurred anyway. This is true in almost every instance. Consensus estimates in the academic literature about the responsiveness of business decisions to taxes find as many as 9 out of 10 hiring and investment decisions subsidized with tax incentives would have occurred even if the incentive did not exist. While this is likely true for most tax incentives, some states are acting in ways to guarantee this outcome for opportunity zones. For example, state officials in Maryland, when nominating census tracts to be eligible for the opportunity zone tax break, identified distressed areas based on where developers previously decided to invest in profitable projects that were already underway, rather than selecting need-based areas that wouldn't otherwise attract those kinds of investments. To the extent of the Opportunity Zones program may influence investors' behavior, one likely impact would be to drive investors toward the most profitable projects, high-end condos, luxury hotels, etc., rather than the ones that are more responsive to the direct needs of the current residents in these communities. For example, grocery stores or community centers. This is because the tax subsidy is significantly larger for highly profitable ventures than for other types of projects. Additionally, because opportunity zones are based on median income, some areas qualify even though they are not truly distressed. For example, several areas near college campuses qualify since median income tends to be lower due to concentrated populations of college students, which means, college students ain't got no damn money. Without explicit policy mechanisms to encourage investments that would be of greater benefit to current residents, opportunity zones are likely to reward projects tailored toward higher income people and contribute to gentrification. Flaw 2, Treasury regulations and IRS guidance for opportunity zones are inadequate to ensure the effectiveness of the program. The regulations proposed by the U.S. Treasury Department are insufficient to ensure the benefits of the program flow to low-income communities. For instance, much of the program could incentivize projects outside of the designated opportunity zones. Due to complex investment and assets tests that determine qualifying tax breaks, as little as 40% of the original investment in an opportunity zone could end up actually benefiting the designated area. Similarly, moves by the IRS to create greater transparency around opportunity zones are important but fall short of providing the data required to hold investors accountable for the impacts of their investment. The IRS proposal released in October 2019 would require opportunity zone funds to disclose the employer identification numbers, census tract numbers, and assess of the businesses in which they invest, as well as the fund's own structures and assets. However, there are no reporting requirements on economic data on such as job creation or poverty reduction. Okay, back to this point. I want to read this again so we can talk about that real quick. Hold on. Rather than the ones that are more responsive to the direct needs of the current residents in these communities. For example, grocery stores or community centers. This is because the tax subsidy is significantly larger for highly profitable ventures than for other types of projects. Okay, see, the problem with that, if you look at, and they call them food deserts. So say if you live in a black and brown community and you don't have a Publix there or Aldi's or a grocery food store, Walmart, neighborhood food store, things like that. Say you have a garbage ass Save-A-Lot, right? I'm sorry, I just got to keep it real. Save-A-Lot is garbage because Save-A-Lot is actually expensive. You can go to Walmart and spend less money at Walmart than Save-A-Lot. Save-A-Lot is like shopping at Publix without the quality of food. So in these food deserts, instead of them bringing grocery stores, they bring that type of bullshit. How does that really help that community instead of bringing organizations? Why? How does that even help that community? And I'm going to get to a point shortly after of why the problem I have with Republicans that I wish they would do better because they make good ideas, but the problem they need to have, if they say Democrats are so phony and fake and they don't care about black people, which they don't either, then they would help to give good opinions on what could be done versus just bringing those opinions out when they're running for office, all right? So let me bring this up. Okay, so going back to that with opportunity zones, you see certain things that you got to do, certain tax breaks that you get. So let's break down the opportunity fund. An opportunity fund is an investment vehicle designated to invest in real estate in areas known as opportunity zones. Opportunity zones are specific geographic areas designated as economically distressed. Tax incentives for investments in opportunity zones include delayed and potentially reduced taxes on capital gains. That's what opportunity zones are. But the funds for that, you put that funds to the side when you invest in those type of communities, right? But it's bullshit, and I'm gonna show you why. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna show you a couple of examples. Give me a second. My internet ain't that good. It's raining right now. Okay, let me show you one thing. Up here in the city of St. Petersburg, right? The South Side should be an entire opportunity zone. But they got East Lelman as one. That is not an area that is fucked up. They say the median income for East Lelman is $28,060. Okay. Because they say it got at least be around that level, $20,000. But that does not mean everybody in that area is making that amount of money, because in this area where it maps out goes all the way down to 16th Street, 9th Street, and 4th Street. This is on the north side. These areas are booming. You have a Carrabba's over there. You have an Outback Steakhouse over there. You have fast food chains that's popping up like Burger Monger or whatever, Munger Burger or whatever you call it. You got Pizza Huts. You got all types of places over there. This area has money. So why is this an opportunity zone? Because they found a certain amount of people that have $28,000. That's a fucking lie, because it's people over there. It's houses over there that cost millions of dollars. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's $1 million houses over there in that area. So how is that opportunity zone if it's $1 million houses over there in that area? We have people that own businesses, construction businesses, and all types of businesses over there that makes at least $250,000 to $500,000 at the least as a small business, but it's a food chain. They have a McDonald's and Wendy's, and I'm gonna get to that on that fast food shit too. All right. Let me go back here. That's one. Let me show y'all another one. Give me a second. And y'all can look this up yourself. Kenwood. Kenwood is another area that has $1 million houses. The household median income is $50,000. At the least, 50 grand. So Lelman would actually be more suitable to be in there, even though they have $1 million houses. Guess what? Over here, they have $1 million houses. They have a lot of businesses over there as well. Even the small business, $250,000, $500,000 that it brings in. $50,000. Why is this area even put over there in an opportunity zone? Like, these are the things that people need to look, instead of listening to what Trump says, 45 saying, talking about this is helping black people, black and brown people. No, the fuck it's not. In these areas that I just showed you, all right, the Lelman area, now that has a large brown community over there. They work and all that great stuff. But guess what? It's $1 million homes over there in that area. Kenwood, $1 million homes in that areas. Why are these areas put in there? And why is the funds really not allocated to really help these people? That's the problem you have. All right. So let me show y'all something else that shows the bullshit and shows how big companies are able to come in and get money off of this opportunity zone, and it helps them and it doesn't help black and brown people. All right. A new Clearwater company focused on opportunity zones and is eyeing investments in projects throughout the Tampa, St. Petersburg metro area. The new company, the Gateway Partners, was formed earlier this month in a collaboration between OpZone Capital, a private equity firm in Clearwater, and 60 West Development, a Missouri-based firm specializing in developments that generate tax incentives. When we met 60 West, they were putting together new developments, a lot of real estate, and also some operating businesses. And we were building the back of our office for our funds, said admin Rakipi. How you said it? Oh, white people, y'all have some weird names. Director of Investments at OpZone Capital. We met and they said we have projects galore, but not much of a back office. You have an amazing back office, but are consistently looking for more projects. Why don't we come together? And that's how Gateway Partners was created. Gateway includes OpZone Capital's entire team of 60 West tax credit and opportunity zone specialists. The firm provides tax incentive-driven real estate projects as well, comprehensive insight on opportunity zones for multifamily, hospitality, self-storage, and senior living developments throughout the southeastern, and western United States. All right, let me move down to something I want to read for y'all. All right. The first time the government has truly incentivized the private sector to go out and get things done, Rakipi said. Other credit programs like low-income tax credits or housing tax credits are essentially government-run programs. When you look at the Opportunity Zone Incentive Program, although the regulations came from Treasury and they have oversight, they've gone to private investors and said, take your capital gains and put them into these underserved communities and see what we can do. And that's new. All right, opportunity zones have been criticized as benefiting wealthy investors and accelerating gentrification, pushing long-time residents out of neighborhoods. The program has gotten a little bit of negative press for that, but we have a major housing issue nationwide, so that's something this could take care of, and we don't have to rely on the government for that, Rakipi said. No, it's true. It is true. It's accelerating gentrification. Now, let me also say this. Gentrification does not just affect black and brown people. It can affect whites, Asians, Italians, and whoever. If you have a small business, right, and say your small business only makes $80,000 a year, if one of these corporations come in, right, and they move in on your block and the area starts booming, like say if like a burger monger, or say if they start moving real estate in there, say if a college campus come in, that could be good, right? That can bring in more money. But the problem is the property value goes up. So guess what the landlord is going to do, or the real estate company is going to do? They're going to start raising the rent by a certain amount of percent, 3%, 5%. You never know. They make it hard for that smaller business to keep affording that. So say if that smaller business is a small mom and pop's food chain, and you got a burger monger next door, and they serve burgers at the mom and pop's place, guess what? You're going to basically run that place out of business, because a lot of people moving down here, they don't necessarily look into the heritage of St. Petersburg. Like, the only thing that's booming right now for St. Petersburg that's a heritage that is kept by the culture is arts. So you're going to have different programs come in. So say if you have a nice museum come in, say you got a college come in, people are not going to focus on what makes that culture in St. Petersburg no more. The mom and pop spots, the little small community art programs. They're not going to really care about those no more, because the bigger people are going to come in and move it out. All right, so check this out. So this is some of the people here in my city, St. Petersburg, that's taking advantage of this. Rakipi, with a background in the restaurant, grocery, and financial services industry, is one of two co-principals at OpZone Capital. He partnered with Janine Blake to launch OpZone Capital. Blake's family founded Pods, portable and demand stores, in Clearwater, where she was senior vice president of partnerships. She also founded two businesses of her own: Express Medical Transporters of Tampa Bay, a non-emergency medical transport company that she grew and subsequently sold in 2010, and a red badge service hazardous waste disposal company that focused on the pharmaceutical industry. OpZone Capital launched its own Opportunity Zone Fund in April. The Southern U.S. REQOF Qualified Opportunity Fund is authorized to raise $40 million to Opportunity Zone acquisitions. It is focused on mixed-use, multifamily, self-storage, and hotel development. That fund is active with 4 projects in its portfolio. So let me tell you why that's a problem. Okay, multifamily real estate, restaurants, hotels. Okay, this is going to be more so for people that come in and out of Florida, right? So you got people that's from the north come down here in the summertime, springtime, stuff like that, spring break and all that. That's gonna be more for them. Let's say you got people that move from northern states and they don't want to pay the state taxes no more. They're tired of paying government and federal taxes and paying state taxes. So when they move down here with multiple family members, say it's a husband and a wife, and they got 2 to 4 kids, that's going to be for them. So say if that family makes $250,000, the husband makes $250,000, the wife is a small city college professor, she makes $60,000. Okay, that's going to be $310,000 they're bringing down with them. They don't have to pay state taxes no more. So if a house costs, let's say $150,000 down here when they move, or $250,000, they're going to be able to get loans from banks a lot easier, especially if they got good credit, to come down here and move into a house and be able to buy a house. That helps them. That helps their children if they decide to go to USF for college, because USF and SBC is colleges down here, but USF is a university, and it's actually outgrowing SBC. SBC had more time here, but USF got more money. It's a university. You know what I'm saying? They got the Bulls, college football team and basketball team. They make money in their games. So this is going to help them more, excuse me, than it's going to help people that stay here already. Like, that's the problem. They're not making ways that we can actually give to the people, because you will have people say that the best way to help bring jobs in is to bring in places like that. So if you bring in hotels, restaurants, and stuff like that, that give people jobs, especially college students, right? Or say if you have like a Walmart or a fast food chain like McDonald's, right? Okay, here's the problem with that. Let's go ahead and talk about, hold on, y'all give me a second. Let's talk about some of these fast food places, McDonald's being one. All right, executive summary. Nearly 3/4, 73% of enrollments in America's major public benefits programs are from working families, but many of them work in jobs that pay wages so low that their paychecks do not generate enough income to provide for life's basic necessities. Low wages paid by employers in the fast food industry create especially acute problems for the families of workers in this industry. Median pay for core frontline fast food jobs is $8.69 a fucking hour. With many jobs paying at or near the minimum wage, benefits are also scarce for frontline fast food workers. An estimated 87% do not receive health benefits through their employer. The combination of low wages and benefits, often coupled with part-time employment, means that many of the families of fast food workers must rely on taxpayer-funded safety net programs to make ends meet. This report estimates the public cost of low-wage jobs in the fast food industry. Medicaid, the Earned Income Tax Credit, and the other public benefits programs discussed in this report provide a vital support system for millions of Americans working in the United States. Service industries, including fast food. We analyze public program utilization by working families and estimate total average annual public benefit expenditures on the families of frontline fast food workers for the years of 2007 to 2011. For this analysis, we focus on jobs held by core frontline fast food workers, defined as non-managerial workers who work at least 11 hours per week for 27 or more weeks per year. Main findings: more than half, 52% of the families of frontline fast food workers are enrolled in one or more public programs, compared to 25% of the workforce as a whole. The cost of public assistance to families of workers in the fast food industry is nearly $7 billion a year, at an average of $3.9 billion per year. Spending on Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program accounts for more than half of these costs. Due to low earnings, fast food workers' families also receive an annual average of $1.4 billion in food stamp benefits and $1.91 billion in earned income tax credit payments. People working in fast food jobs are more likely to live in or near poverty. 1 in 5 families with a member holding a fast food job has a low income below the poverty line, and 43% have an income 2 times the federal poverty level or less. Even full-time hours are not enough to compensate for low wages. The families of more than half of the fast food workers employed 40 or more hours per week are enrolled in public assistance programs. Listen, this is by the laborcity.berkeley.edu. For anybody who thinks, .com like me, you gotta look for .org or .net. These are organizations that this is what they do. This is the research that they actually do. This is nonprofit. Okay, like I said, even if you have a McDonald's and Walmart, we all know what the problem is with Walmart. The problem with Walmart for years has been they will say employees work full-time hours, but only work between 34 to 37 hours a week. So they can't even afford benefits. This is the same problem that they had been having with places like McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger Kings. Now, Wawa, I give them credit because they come in and pay you 12 and up. $12 to $14 starting out. Especially if you got experience. So I can respect it. They paying out good money. But you got places like this that got way more money than Wawa's that don't pay their employees shit, and they go through it. You know they go through the disrespect in fast food restaurants. All right, so say, playing devil's advocate. All right, let's say if you have people that say, all right, well, get a better job. Get another job, right? They would say that they, get another job. Okay, within the last 3 years, between 2016 to 2017, 2015 to 2017, I had 3 jobs. And those 3 jobs equated to $32,000 a year. 3 jobs. 1 full-time job and 2 part-time jobs. Only ended up estimated to a little over $32,000, I believe $34,000. 3 jobs. 3 jobs. Now, factor in my rent at this time because it's not the same. I was paying $700 a month in rent. Now, the place I was staying at in 2020 is like, and it was a small 1-bedroom apartment. I was paying $700. That 1-bedroom apartment is now $900 a month. $900 a month. So when I was making around $32,000 to $34,000 a year, and so that's around $3,000 a month, and I'm paying $700 a month in rent. So that's not too bad. Then I have a son that's a teenager. I gotta get money out to him, so it's not too bad. I just gotta make sure I budget my funds properly. But the problem here in St. Petersburg, Florida, I'm sure y'all see that in y'all cities and states. A lot of people coming down here from different places. I'll talk to people in from Chicago, New York, Boston, some everywhere you can think of. And they were talking about how expensive it got where they stayed. They come down here and what they're paying. I'm talking to different people when I was doing Uber and Lyft and picking people up and dropping them off from work to home. And within this time, and this was in January to March, right before the pandemic got worse, and I stopped doing that shit, just started doing deliveries. These people were telling me it was more expensive, but then when they come down here, they kind of see that it was still a little close to being expensive. Because now, a 2-bedroom apartment that used to cost $900 now costs $1,200 to $1,300. $1,200 to $1,300. And the minimum wage is not keeping up with that. Now, I'm seeing other people arguments saying minimum wage is not helping because if a person was making more money, now that job can go ahead and take them down because that's what the minimum wage. No, they can't. They can't just do that because you have a contract. If you hire somebody for this, you can't just drop the price, drop their pay rate because of what the minimum wage is said. That's bullshit. If that person has that experience, you can't just drop it down because it's minimum wage. You can't legally do that. So when people say that, that's actually bullshit. Only certain people try that and find a way to get away with it. But people, you have employee rights. You have that right, workforce and labor force rights. You can sue a company for that. They can't legally just do that. It have to be a legitimate reason. But they can't just do that, and they have to have you sign some kind of paperwork saying that you not acknowledge that that's being done. Okay, and I would say a strike. But the problem is, back again to playing devil's advocate. Okay, let's say somebody say just get a better job, move from your area. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Or black and brown people need to learn how to budget their money better and go into getting jobs or starting businesses and things of that nature. Okay, I hear you on that. But that's not necessarily the issue. The issue is education. That's why you keep seeing how we talk about in our communities a poor education. In our schools, they are not teaching financial literacy. Okay? So you have a lot of black people, and I'm going to say this on both sides, still playing devil's advocate and getting to the bottom of it. We do have a lot of black people that may have money and do need to invest more into our communities. That's true. But the problem is when you have people with money that don't have education, they're not going to know what to do with their money. Or most of them are just going to want to keep their money to themselves and be selfish. That's the problem I have with the conservative Republican talk, because they will say these things and blame it on the Democrats, right? But the problem is, instead of giving up knowledge, they don't do that. That's why I tell people, unless you got money, don't try to become a Republican, because you couldn't afford it. You cannot afford to be a Republican. Now, if you want to say that you're a Republican so you can get in and rub elbows and try to be able to get this knowledge, that's fine. But you're going to have to play a token for a while, which I've seen all the time. They're going to exploit you and say, yeah, this is the Negro that I'm helping. Or this is the brown person that I'm helping. So if you're okay with getting exploited, that's fine. But the problem is with them versus Democrats and liberals. Now, liberals, yeah, handouts does not necessarily help everything. That's why I say education is key and important. We need to get more financial literacy in school versus them just teaching our children how to just be slaves and think all you need is a basketball to get out the ghetto and a football too if you can take a hit. No, it needs to be more financial literacy being taught in the schools. That's something that we need to be pushing for. But the problem with conservatives and Republicans, when they just talk and they blame Democrats talking about just handouts, why don't you tell them certain opportunities that we can take advantage of, that we can actually get some money, that we can actually grow into a business and helping of that thing? The problem I see with Republicans, because we got to get to a nutshell of basically what a Republican is and what they do, all right? What does the Republican Party focus on? The GOP was founded in 1854 by opponents of the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which allowed for the potential expansion of slavery into the Western territories. The party supported classical liberalism, opposed the expansion of slavery, and supported economic reform. Okay. Hold on. It was something that I wanted to. All right. Hold on. No, that's not it. All right, here we go. What are Republicans believe? The positions of the Republican Party have evolved over time. Contemporarily, the party's economic conservatism involves support for lower taxes, free market capitalism, deregulation of corporations, and restriction on labor unions. See, restrictions on labor unions. Why would you have restrictions on labor unions that's trying to do the right thing by their, their constituents, by their employees, the unemployment union? So the problem with Republicans that I feel is the only time they bring up what's going on and what can be done to correct is when they're going to fight to get into office. This is the game that they play instead of giving out knowledge. And the reason why I say that, not to just, try to put down Republicans, but what I'm saying is, why can't they say, hey, let's try this? Why can't you come together with Democrats? Okay, trying to give away too much is not helping. Why don't y'all teach impoverished communities, all these communities that Democrats are on over, and they say ruin black communities, Chicago and wherever? Why don't you try this? Why don't you try to be smart this way? Why don't we work together? Versus, like, let's make it more bipartisan. And you may have conservatives and Republicans that's going to hear this and thumbs down me, dislike me, and be like, well, that's on the person. That's the problem. This is why this country is keep falling up and down, having our up and downs and our roller coasters, because we're not worried about working together. I'm independent, right? So now I try to be strategic with my vote. If I vote for a Republican, I'm going off the policies and what they have, and trying to make sure that that's the things that's going to be done. Do they have a track record? Same thing would go for a Democrat. I have no problem voting for either or, because I'm in the middle. I'm not for Republicans or Democrats. So I'm not saying this because I'm just trying to attack them, but I'm just saying I wish it would just be more bipartisan with both. Like, why can't we have Republicans running saying, listen, I have no problem working with Democrats, but we need to get this done. We need to get that done. And we need to try to get the right people in place. We can care for people while also getting other people, that bag. We can do both. Why don't they do both? And that's the problem I have with it. So in a nutshell, the opportunity zone is not necessarily helping black and brown people. Because everything that it's doing only gives to people that are already doing a lot of these things. Here in my community in St. Petersburg, I'm just seeing people buying houses. Like, one perfect example, and I told this on a prior video. There's a house down the street from my mom's house, and I was looking to, you know, try to get a crib. So I look at the house. They didn't build it up. The family that was staying there, they tore it down. So another a real estate company came and purchased the house, made it beautiful. I'm like, yeah, this is dope. 4-bedroom. Me and my cousin were trying to get a spot together, and we was gonna build our businesses and all of that thing of nature. Maybe have another roommate or two. They told me, they asked me, what's my credit score? So I told them, and they said, well, you have to have at least 600 of credit score to even look at this house. Now, how does that help the community when you know if you come into a black community and you know black people are just now really getting hip to the fundamentals of building and improving credit? When you come into a community and you buy a house, you make it, and this house, I think it was like 4,200. It was either 3,200 or 4,200. All right. So blocks down from my house is $1 million houses. Some like around 10, close to 10 blocks away from my mom's area. They got money, so they're trying to move it further this way, and it's closing in on the south side. So I'm seeing a lot of these companies buy these houses, and I'm like, why would you make it that expensive if a black family wants to move in? It's too expensive, and then you already know most likely black people don't have good credit scores. We're trying to improve now and build on it, so why would you not do that? But they're going to be able to still take part into these opportunity zone tax breaks. How does that help us? Instead of giving it to black and brown people in a sense like, all right, let's say we do it like this, because they still going to get tax credits. Why not push investors, right? You know what? Say, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go ahead and make it to where for a black business, we can invest funds to where say you need you have an office space. We can pay that off for the rest of the year. Say if it's at least 6 months left or more. We can pay that off for the rest of the year, get tax breaks. The investors and sponsors or whatever can get they can get tax breaks on that. They don't do that. All right, say if you're just starting a business, we can give you a tax break on whatever materials or products that you need to buy to get your business going. They don't do that. Okay, say if you need some employees, we can give you these funds to pay these employees up to this amount of time, and we'll cut what taxes you have to pay for your employees by 50%. They don't do that. Okay, when these companies come in, let's go to black-owned construction workers, and let's say it's a crew of, like, say if I have houses as a real estate company, and I need at least a crew of 5 to 10 people. There's a lot of black people that do that, but let's say they don't have a business. Okay, we're gonna have you come work for us, but we need you to get your LLC first. So we're gonna invest for you to get that. Part of what we will pay you to build on these houses or build on these businesses, we're gonna have you allocate, like give them steps. We're gonna have you allocate some of that money that we're gonna give you. You have to go and get an LLC. So the first thing we're gonna do, because it's around $235, $250 for an LLC. So we're gonna have you allocate those funds to get licensed, and part of money to go to insuring your company. We're gonna have part of that fund go to that, so that you can come and build for us. They don't do that. Organizations for children and centers, they don't allocate money to that. They don't allocate money to grocery stores. Like, these are the things that could actually help black and brown, low impoverished communities. They don't do that. And somebody could say, oh, no, they supposed to be getting return and all that. But it's little to no return that they stay away from. So that means you're not investing in high risk, low income communities with high poverty levels. You're not trying to make no changes. That's the problem that we have. So for all you people, excuse me, that hear this, if you're black and brown, please keep listening to this channel. Like I said, every Friday, God willing, we're going to be giving you things. My partner HD is going to be giving you things that you can do with your money. If you want to try to build a business, if you want to invest in stocks, if you want to know how you can save your money to get money into the housing market, get you a house. We're going to be talking about these things, all of these things that comes with living and survival, where we speak about the job market, on all of these different things. Please make sure you keep listening. Every Friday, God willing, every Friday, we're going to have a show. All right. We're going to do our best to make sure before 5 p.m. we'll have a show loaded. All right. Every Friday before 5 p.m., we're going to have a show loaded, God willing, for y'all to look at, and we're going to be doing all of this talk. Make sure y'all go ahead, like, share, and comment, and subscribe. And leave in the comments things that you would like to hear on finances on every Friday. Go ahead and ask questions. Go ahead and suggest different topics that we can talk about when it comes to financial literacy every Friday. All right, this your boy JTL, opposite from the norm. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And leave in the comment section what you would like to hear. Once again, like I said, what you would like to talk about, what discussions you would like to have when it comes to financial literacy. For Financial Fridays, make sure you go ahead and hit us up and let us know, because these things are important. Like I just showed you here on a lot of things. Keep looking up our opportunity zone. And one more thing, Nipsey Hussle got rich. So another reason why this brother was a blessing and angel to this is because when he found out about opportunity zones, he was talking about going to the White House and speaking more on making sure and speaking to his people that these funds are help allocated to the black community in ways like I was just saying, and actually the people of the community being able to vote on those things and give their input on those type of things. I'm telling you, we miss that young king, man. I miss you, brother. Rest in peace, young king. But this your boy JTL, opposite from the norm. Once again, make sure you like, care, like, share. Make sure you care, like, share, comment, and definitely make sure you subscribe. Every Friday, God willing, before 5 p.m. Make sure y'all check us out. Chill.